So hi Scotty, thanks so much for joining us. So for everyone watching, this is Scotty Gillespie. He's an artist and we are currently in matching tops. We should just point that out. We didn't coordinate, it's just great minds thinking alike. So just to kick off, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got into illustration and ceramics for anyone who hasn't come across you yet?
Sure. So basically, I guess a little bit about me. I kind of start from the beginning.
Yeah, brilliant.
So when I was really young, I've always been like surrounded by creative people.
Mm,
So my dad is a carpenter, and he also painted in his spare time.
mm,
So um he was like quite heavily inspirational for me to know that creative fields are a path that you can actually go down.
mm,
Um, my mum, not creative in the slightest, but super supportive. So
mm,
quite privileged from like a really early age to A, be supported, and B, surrounded by like creative people.
mm.
Um, and then I guess I'm gonna fast forward it from there to right up until I don't 2000 like 2017,
Mhm,
16, when I started university. So
mhm,
there's lots of like things that have kind of carved my way through to university. I originally went to university when I first finished college.
mm.
And I did a fine art degree, and I absolutely hated it.
Mhm,
I left in the first year, and then I
mm.
spent about 15 years kind of not really sure what I was doing with my life. Um, and then yeah, I decided to go to university again, and I had credits left over, so I went to Plymouth University to do an illustration degree.
Mm.
So that's where I learned, I guess, my illustrative craft and like the world of illustration. And on that course, I was really fortunate to do a Japanese exchange. So I spent 3 months in Hokkaido, which is North Japan, which was an incredible experience. But that's where I learned how to do ceramics.
Mm.
So then when I came back to the UK, I was like, right, I really want to explore ceramics through my illustrative practice, and
Mm.
it's kind of just snowballed from there, really. Yeah.
Wow, what a journey. So yeah, that's such a varied and interesting journey you've taken to where you are now. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And as you know, we're talking about Pride for this issue. What was your experience or knowledge of Pride growing up, would you say?
um, so for me, I guess I want to share a little bit about my background, I
Mm.
guess. So
Yeah.
um I'm 35. So when I was in high school,
Mm.
uh, or is it high school? Not high school, primary
Secondary
school, secondary school, primary school. I was young.
school?
I was really young.
Yeah.
And so when I was in school, I was in school when the tail end of Section 28 was
Uh,
still kind of within like the curriculum. So
mm,
it means that the promotion of like homosexuality or the LGBTQ community was like not allowed.
mm,
So from a really young age, even though like I have creative and liberal people around me,
mm,
like where when you're in school, it's like your world, right? It's
mm,
nothing else around outside of school. So I was kind of like riddled with a lot of shame and kind
mm,
of I guess just almost hate for myself, really,
yeah.
because I knew I was gay, but everybody else around me was saying that that's wrong.
Mm,
So yeah, from a kind of early age, like I had this like sense of shame, which as I've got older, has gradually like depleted. I still think that I still hold some of those tiny, tiny nuances,
Right.
like still to this day. But yeah, so there's like that. So my like experience with Pride is quite tumultuous, I
Mm,
guess.
mhm,
Um, and yeah, so I think after I like left school and came out of a system, and then I started to like find my own feet and start like exploring my sexuality and like being around people that were like on the same like page as me,
mhm,
and and then I slowly got a sense of pride within myself, and then started building upon that, I guess.
mhm.
So pride for me is a journey.
Mm, yeah.
And it's a journey of like self-acceptance, but also protest, you know,
Mm,
'cause I think pride these day and age, now, is very much like celebratory, and it should be a celebration of community. But I think also we didn't get to those places without like protests and stuff like that. So
so
yeah,
mixed.
I'm really sorry. That is such like a long answer.
No, no, that was great. No, it's great. So it's kind of, yeah, mixed elements for you then, I guess. Okay. And what does pride, I guess we may have covered it already, but what would you say pride means to you in with a small p?
Yeah, I would I would say to try and amalgamate it into one thing, it is a celebration and it's a protest at the same time.
Mm.
It's
A celeb protest.
a protest. Yeah, that's a really cool word. And within that, I think like having ethos of like creating visibility for people. Um,
Mm,
it's community, and it's with like affirmations of like dignity, love, and
mm,
yeah, it's just all those really nice things.
all the good things.
All the things, yeah.
Because I've had a look at your website and your work, and it's just so beautiful and so uplifting, and it's so bright and optimistic. I mean, does any of your experience that we've talked about so far feed into it, and if it does, how would you say it does?
Yeah, definitely. So like my practice is essentially, um, excuse me, my filter of the world, or
Mm,
not of the world, but my work, like my world.
mm,
So I just I get inspired by a lot of things, but because my because I'm come under the queer gay umbrella, I will automatically have this like it'll be coded in that way,
mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, but so even if I'm drawing a picture of my dog, or a picture of like my garden, or um because I filter it through experience, it
Mm,
automatically it gets coded queer, which is great because then it's automatically mine.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. With your own unique lens of experience. Yeah, makes sense. Nice.
yeah.
And we love your aesthetic. Everyone on our team, just it's so beautiful. Like I said, can you explain a bit more for people that maybe haven't had a look at it yet? And obviously, we'll do immediately after this. Can you explain a bit more about your design style and how you approach your work?
Yeah, so um my my style, I would say, has also been on a journey.
Mhm.
um the more I find, the more confidence like I gain through like image making,
Mm,
the more simple my work is. So when I first started doing illustration, I would overcomplicate things, and you know, I would make things so like technically more difficult for me to overcompensate for me not feeling that
Mm.
confident in my work.
Mhm.
And then as I'm like going through like my illustration practice, I've realized that it's actually the message that is the most important thing. And
Mm.
sometimes overcomplicating things like loses the message.
Mm.
So I really like bold, simplistic, almost childlike drawings, because I find that they not just get the message across, but they're for me, the way I do stuff is it's the best way to get the messages that I want across.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, there's sort of an innocence as well as the powerful message often coming through in your work.
Yeah, I like the balance of innocence, but there's a message.
Yeah.
And there's like I really want my work to be accessible for everybody,
Mm.
so through all ages. But
Mhm.
also I like it's also things that I like, so I'm really inspired by like cartoons that I grew up with,
Mm.
like Snoopy and the Moomins and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So like these things are they just naturally fall into place when I'm like making work.
Mm. Mm. And what kind of themes would you say you focus on? I mean, I've seen a range of different projects you've worked on, but are there sort of underpinning themes you say in your practice?
Yeah, I would say um I mean, it's kind of hard to, well, there's quite a few different themes, but the things that I do tend to like come back to
Mm.
is things like tenderness. And when I mean like yeah, it's really difficult to like amalgamate them into themes, because they're
Sure,
not
yeah.
I don't kind of theme things. But
Mm.
what I do really like doing, I guess a theme that does come up is just optimism.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I'm really, I guess I'm quite an optimistic person. But sometimes I think, you know, when you think of optimistic imagery, I always
Mm.
think of that. I mean, whoever made this, sorry, but I really don't like it. It's the kind of live, laugh, love culture.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So, and that is like, that to me is like, that's like the ultimate optimistic kind of thing. But
Mm.
for me, it's empty. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean anything. And when you blanket coat something for everybody to kind of, it's meant for everybody, it actually ends up being meaningless.
yeah, and for
And
nobody, I guess.
yeah, so I really like to kind of make content that's relatable optimism. I guess that's like
Mm.
a new term that I've made up, but relatable optimism. And that's a kind of theme that really runs through all my work, I guess.
Mm. Interesting. And how would you say you go about representing elements of queerness, gender, LGBTQ plus community in your work? Would you say that's something you're aiming to represent?
It's interesting actually, because I mean, that's the thing that a lot of people know me for. And
Mm.
I don't actually I don't purposely go out to represent community, like I don't go out to represent like necessarily anybody,
Mm.
but because I am within that community, and the way I process my work is through experiences
Mm.
and stuff, it's automatically doing that.
Yeah.
Does that
Mm.
make
Yeah, it
sense?
does. Yeah, yeah.
But there's that, but also like I have my own kind of personal like ethos of um like I want things to be like accessible. So if I'm like creating characters, for instance, I always make them like gender neutral.
Mm.
Um, and I want it to be the reader's interpretation or the viewer's interpretation to if they're male, female, or neither.
Mm.
and like maybe like using different hairstyles and stuff like that. And I also think I guess my style really lends itself to that because it's quite
Mm,
simplistic. It
yeah.
also lends to the ambiguousness
Yeah.
of of the of me not being this is male, this is female.
Yeah. Yeah. And where would you say do those sort of ideas and concepts come from the experiences that you've had growing up that we talked about earlier, or maybe are you drawing on other things?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of all of the above. I
Yeah.
would say. I would say. I get asked this question quite a lot, and I think my answer. I hope I don't want it to sound like really blasé. Like I'm just inspired by like everything, but like, I genuinely am, and what I tend to do is like I tend to take a sketchbook everywhere with me. I have my
Mhm.
phone, which I have like my little notes, and if I hear something, I'll write it down. If I see something, I'll do a little sketch of it.
Mm,
And like if someone walks past me in the street and they're like having this really funny conversation with their mum or something
mm, yeah.
about washing, I might if I find it interesting, I'll kind of write it down, and then I have this kind of almost Rolodex of like experiences and ideas that I can
Yeah.
then go back to and go, that'll make an interesting image. Maybe I'll develop that further. Like
Yeah.
that's so it's kind of it's everything around me filtered.
Yeah. Through you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Just a last question, I guess. Why do you think you mentioned that you're focused on being sort of excessively optimistic and a really authentic form of optimism? Why do you think it's important at this moment in time to sort of uplift people in society? And how do you think your work sort of interacts with COVID and all that stuff that's going on at the moment?
Yeah. I mean, all you've got to do is go online, and it's like the whole weight of the world is on your shoulders.
Mm,
And I think like all these issues and like things that are going on in the world, they're so important, and I'm so glad that like certain things are getting the light of day. Uh,
mm,
but and like kind of going back, what I was saying before about protests and stuff like that. But
mm,
sometimes I think you can't do that. You can't be consuming this media constantly and
mm,
not have a breather
mm,
and not like just take a second, just relax. And
mm,
that's kind of what I do, and that's kind of what I think that is important, is to have these optimistic kind of little things that are just there in the ether
mm.
for people to catch their breath a little bit.
Yeah, sort of emotional respite from everything.
Yeah, it's so important
Mm,
for your mental well-being to just like take a moment just to just not for an hour or a day or a week or however long you need.
mm,
You can't keep going like everyone needs sleep. Everyone needs to drink water. Everybody needs like a mental like moment,
yeah,
and it's so important, I think.
yeah, definitely is. Well, what a lovely note to end on. Let's encourage everybody watching to do all of those good restorative things, and also check out your work and maybe buy something from your shop to support you. Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, Scotty. That was really, really interesting. And I will obviously link to all your pages so everyone can check out what you get up to. And yeah, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was
You
really good talking to you.
you too. Thank you.
Cheers.